Hello, this is Sizwe podcast. My name is Agnes. Today, we are very privileged to have in our studio a medical doctor, Dr. Glen Kofi Boahene. You know, many times when I fly in the airplane, before you know there's announcement, is there a doctor on board the plane? And somebody will get up. I always get jealous. Now, why would they call? Is there somebody who can talk like Agnes on the plane? So Dr. Glen is here in Edmonton to visit his family. And I managed to cross paths with him, and I asked him, do you mind coming to our studio? And he said yes, because once a doctor, you are always a doctor. There's so much we want to learn from doctors, especially in our community. And for someone like him to accept to come into our studio is an honor. I would like him to tell us more about who he is, where he's from, and why he's in our studios today. Welcome, doctor.
Thank you.
Who are you?
Thank you once again. I'm thrilled to be invited here to be one of the guests. I'm Glen Kofi Boahene. Family and friends call me KB. I'm a graduate from the Yaroslav the Wise, a medical school in Russia. I also did, after graduating, I also went back to my home country, which is Ghana, to complete my housemanship for 2 years. I worked in various departments, in surgical department, in pediatric department. I also worked in the internal medicine department for 6 months, and I did another rotation for 6 months in obstetrics and gynecology in a Tamale Northern Regional Hospital, which is Ghana. Also in Ghana.
Yes.
I'm the third out of 4 children of my parents. I enjoy jogging at my leisure hours, and then also I'm a supporter of Arsenal Football Club.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that fight will pick it another level. Thank you so much. If you just join us, this is Sizwe podcast, and today we are talking to a medical doctor. I chose the topic cardiovascular disease to set the ball rolling. And if the doctor is here for a longer time, I would like to bring him over and over again, because Dr. Bukola once said that immigrants, mostly when we leave our home countries and travel abroad, after 5 years, we encounter so many health issues. Why is that so? I don't know. But today we'll talk briefly about cardiovascular diseases. And the next time we are here, we'll pick it from another level. So I'm going back to Dr. Glen KB. What is cardiovascular disease to the 101? How I will be able to understand.
Well, thank you once again. So in order to understand this whole issue, you just have to imagine the heart as a pump with chambers, right? The pump receives blood, which is deoxygenated, and then sends blood, which is oxygenated, to the various parts of the body right now. So cardiovascular system itself, it involves the heart and then the blood vessels that carry blood through to all parts of the body and back. As simple as it is.
And what are some of the diseases that come with this system?
Okay, so that's a great question. There are various diseases that comes with this system, but then the most common one that we almost always see or encounter as medical practitioners, we have conditions such as atherosclerosis.
Hey, can you bring it to my level?
Hypertension.
If you just join us, this is Sizwe podcast, and we are talking to a medical doctor who is explaining what a cardiovascular is and some of the common diseases. He just mentioned one of the diseases which I don't even want to go there. Please, can you repeat that and then bring it to a layman's
atherosclerosis in the layman's.
Did you hear that?
Atherosclerosis is
atherosclerosis. Yeah. Okay.
So one part is, like I said, the athero is something in a layman word is like a porridge looking like something.
Okay.
Right? And sclerosis in medical school, we do a lot of Latin. Most of our medical terminologies come from the Latin word. So sclerosis is just hardening of something.
Okay, so something that was supposed to be smooth and polished has become very rough.
Very rough and
hard. Okay.
Yes. And this hard thing that forms, in medical terms, we call it plaque. The plaque narrows the blood vessel. Assuming you have a pump, a water hose in the house.
Yes.
Picture the veins and arteries in your body as a water hose.
The one that we use to water our garden.
Water our gardens and all that in the house. And then you have this arteriosclerosis that we talked about, or the atheroma, that hardening stuff. Inside the hole. What does it do? It narrows. If it was like this at first, it narrows it and makes it smaller or not wider for free flow of blood to pass through.
Yes, now I got it. So that is a common occurrence with the defect if you have a problem with your the cardiovascular system.
Thank you very much. And that's what mostly predisposes individuals to have heart diseases, right? Or vessel diseases, if you can bring it to summarize it.
Thank you. Guys, if you just join us, this is Sizwe Podcast. My name is Agnes. I'm talking to Dr. KB, Dr. Glen. He's a young doctor. You know why, like in Sizwe Podcast, we always want to see young guys that look like me to encourage our youth and our children that like the opportunities are there if you only give yourself time. So I'm not only here to talk about issues that bothers our health, but I'm also using him to encourage our youth who are watching that I want to see more of you in his position. So Doc is talking to us about challenges that we face with our cardiovascular system, especially when we are here. And what are some of the guidelines or some of the things that we have to do as immigrants to be able not to go to that level where we have to pick a phone to call 911.
All right.
Right? Okay, so the first one, I've already forgotten about it.
The atherosclerosis.
Okay, what other issues do we face with yes?
Other issues, so that we make this thing very enticing and very nice, we can move to risk factors.
Okay.
That predisposes each and
very
each
good.
and
Yeah,
of us
thank you so much.
to get maybe a cardiovascular disease, right? And how we can avoid it or prevent it.
Okay, so how to avoid cardiovascular diseases? What pushes us to that level where we become very vulnerable to such diseases?
Okay. So, the wisdom of God or in the wisdom of medicine, it has been divided into two pathways. You have the modifiable risk factors and then the non-modifiable risk factors. Which this literally means that you can do something about it. Part.
Please always bring it to the layman's
literally
for me.
Means that the non-modifiable risk factors, there's nothing you can do about it. It is natural.
Okay.
That's why it is non-modifiable.
So it's like how we say it is genetic or like.
So
like
I'll come to it.
Okay.
And then the modifiable causes, risk factors, means that if you do something about it, it will change.
It will change.
Right.
And that is what we want to concentrate on today.
So today we are talking about the non-modifiable, the things, and then the things you can't do anything about it, and then some few things that you can do on the modifiable causes.
I'm in.
All right.
Thank you.
So if you are a man, you can decide that you are not a man, but you are a man. Right? And if you're a woman, you can decide that you're a woman, but you are not a woman.
But you are a woman, genetically.
Yes.
Okay.
So these are non-modifiable. You can't do anything about it. Your sex, as a man or a woman, your race. Atherosclerosis or cardiovascular disease are commonly predisposed to black people.
Really?
Blacks are mostly predisposed to cardiovascular disease.
Why?
In medicine, there's something called idiopathic. It means that we don't understand it yet.
Guys, if you just join us, this is Sizwe Podcast, and today I brought myself. into the doctors and their terminology. Do you remember those times when you go to the hospital and the doctor give you a prescription and you go and sit somewhere at the back of the pharmacy to trying to read what the doctor has written before you take it to see whether if this one I have one of those at home. That is the term the doctor is giving to me today. I'm talking to a medical doctor and he's giving me all the terms about cardiovascular risk factors.
All right.
Right?
Yes.
But please make the terms more readable.
Like I said, in medicine, the non-modifiable means that there's nothing you can do about it. We talked about your sex. Mm-hmm. We talked about you being a man,
or
sex being a man.
My race.
Mm-hmm. Or your race.
I said, yeah.
Right. You can talk of you having a family history of a condition.
Yes.
I.e., maybe your dad, your granddad, from your mother's side or from your mother's side, there's a family trend of, let's say, diabetes in the family. Mm-hmm. You are highly predisposed to getting a cardiovascular disease because of that family trend that is going on.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that one, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Right. And genetics, your individual, your genetic makeup, that makes you you. Mm-hmm. You can't change it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So that's deals with some of the non-modifiable risk factors that we talk about. And the modifiable things means that things that you have power over, you have control over, that you can change.
Yes.
We talked about 3 of them, but today this discussion will just dwell on just about 2 of them.
Okay, because I'm bringing you back. Thank you. If you just join us, we are talking about modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors as relating to cardiovascular, your cardiovascular system. And I think I understand him. I can't change my race. I can't change my sex. So in some families, they are predisposed to certain diseases, which you cannot do anything about it. But there are others. You can do something that will put you into a place where you finally get diabetes. Those things, he said, we can do something about it. And that's what we are talking about today. So what are some of the things that we can do if our family line has no cardiovascular diseases? What do we do to get it? And what can we do to prevent it?
So with the non-modifiable risk factors that we talked about, the key thing that I omitted, or I should have said on the first stop, is your age.
Your age.
Right. As we grow older, some, back in the days, they were saying that there are some sickness or there are some diseases that are for old people, and there are some that are for young people.
Heart attack is for old people.
Yeah, so the more older you get, the more predisposed you are to getting certain diseases.
Yes.
And you can't do anything about it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Okay. So now let's go back to the modifiable risk factors that we can have. Yeah, so we have excessive consumption or intake of alcohol.
It's one of the things that predisposes you to getting a lot of cardiovascular
and that
challenges.
You have control over. That's why we put all those things under a big umbrella, modifiable.
Yes.
You can change it. You have control over excessive consumption or intake of alcohol. Smoking.
Okay. I think Doctor is hitting a point here. And guys, if you just join us, this is Sizwe Podcast. We are talking about issues that will not let you call 911 because your heart is almost failing. And he has given us 3, modifiable, non-modifiable, and I'm not going to explain it. And then your age. There are certain things that predisposes you to some of these diseases, and those that are not in your genetic, we can control it. He just hinted smoking and excessive consumption of alcohol.
Right.
It will predispose you to getting cardiovascular diseases, and I don't think that's where we want to be.
All right. And the other one we will just add just for the basic of this conversation is diet. And then the catchword here is unhealthy.
Unhealthy diet.
You can call it unbalanced. You can call it unhealthy. But diet is a major thing that we need to talk about and address.
So which one are you picking first, Doc?
So as discussed earlier, we were talking about the diet, and then another modifiable risk factor that we have also is your physical activity.
Okay, so your diet, your control of smoking,
Right.
and your control of not too much alcohol.
And
You know why I use the word not too much alcohol, and I like that you said excessive, because if you say no alcohol, some of us will not be happy.
It's not going to work.
If you just join us, this is Sizwe podcast. I'm talking to Dr. Glen KB, affectionately called KB, and he's a young doctor in our community, and I'm proud of him, and I am using him to kill two birds, to encourage our young youth that it is possible to become a medical doctor even when there's nobody in your family to encourage you. Look at him. He made it. And also we have brought him here because, like I said earlier, I don't want to say we are growing, but we are growing, and some of the challenges that we face are cardiovascular diseases. What are some of the things that we ourselves do to make us prone into that? He's talking about excessive consumption of alcohol, smoking, and then our diet. And he added something I don't want to hear, but he said exercise. And that one I'm not good at. Doctor, thank you. So can we talk more about diet?
Yes.
Okay, please.
I explained earlier, for the basis of this conversation, we're just going to do most of our talk on diet.
Okay, I like
activity.
that. Physical activity.
Yes, diet and physical activity.
Okay, I will try.
So, we being in the cold, there are things that we don't get compared to our eating habits and our lifestyle. We coming from Africa. I'm using myself as an example.
Yeah, it's hot throughout the year. Plus 19 is the coldest weather I knew before I came to Canada. I didn't know anything about minus 25.
Yeah.
It was killing.
And then there are some foods that it's readily available in Africa that you just, the access is not that far from you.
Yes.
And your body and your physique and your whole makeup is used to that kind of food.
Yes.
But when you move up here, things get a little different.
Yes.
Because there are some things you find here, there are some things you won't find here.
Yeah.
And even those that you find here, it has been frozen.
It has been preserved. Yes, yeah.
It has been
refined. Refined. Yeah,
yes.
It has been canned. It has been dried. It has been frozen. It has been so you don't get it in its raw state. And I like what doctor is bringing. You know, until I grew up almost about age 16, and I moved out of my village, we never preserved any food in the fridge. It was either from the farm into my mother's pot or from the kitchen, from the local market. Every day we have to go to the farm or to go to the local market to buy something. Is that what we do here? I have 2 freezers and a fridge in my house. And is that what you said? Yeah. Yeah. So how has that brought us so close into these cardiovascular challenges that we are talking about today?
Well, it's a whole spectrum that we have to digest it one at a time. It's diet, right? Like I said, you can have a balanced diet. You thinking that
it is a balanced diet,
but it is not. You've not seen any dietitian or you've not consulted anyone, and the way you think it works for you, so you are doing it, but maybe it's not. Yeah,
and it is putting you in that risk.
Putting you at risk.
Yes.
In this side of town, because of work and other activities, you don't even get time to cook your own food.
Yeah.
Right.
I can drive to Rue.
And food that is cooked not by you, you cannot control the quantity of things you add. Example, salt.
Yes.
Salt is one of the strongest killers, if I'm allowed to use this word. If I'm allowed to use this word, it's one of the dangerous silent killers if you don't manage it well. So some even decide, then I'm not even going to take salt at all.
No, I'm not one of them. Guys, if you just join us, we are talking about cardiovascular diseases and some of the things that put us in that risk mode, especially when we move out of our country. where it is easy from the farm to the port, or from the local market to the port. Here we come, we are busy, we are driving, we're going to work. Preservation of food is at its top. Doctor says it put us into that challenge of easily getting cardiovascular diseases. So he's talking about diet.
Yeah.
Do you cook your own food? I don't know.
And also, because of this cultural shock that we're going to get, back in some villages in Africa, there's nothing like McDonald's. There's nothing like Burger King. There's nothing like all these fast food joints you can get food. And because of the work we do here, we don't have time to cook. So most of us here in the north or in the outside resort to these food as their food they eat, like their daily. So in the morning, just grab some coffee in the shop, goes to work in the afternoon. Oh, I'm getting hungry. Just pass up McDonald's, get some.
Or skip the dish.
Or skip.
Guys, I'm not spoiling anybody's business here. To tell you the truth, we mean good for everybody, but you know your system. And like I said, that Dr. Bukola said something that when we come here from Africa, mostly we come here strong, energetic, our food are okay. But 5 years down the road, we begin to see so many challenges in our health. And doctor is talking about one of them today, our cardiovascular disease, and what put us in that risk. It's our diet. Yeah. There's one he talked about, exercise, which I'm guilty, so I'm just being silent on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So with the diet, as I'm going on, you know, your way you eat changes drastically from Africa to here.
Yes. And I can attest to that.
As you know, there's like I said earlier, there are some vegetables, there are some fruits, there are some legumes that are readily available to us any day that we want.
Yes.
Some granules, some legumes, some family of legumes. They are readily available. You just walk by it and you buy it, and then you are just okay. Or you don't even buy it, you just get it. But here, you don't. Those foods are somewhat eliminated from our diet until you subconsciously tell yourself, oh, I need to get this, or I need to get that, or I need to get this, or I need to get that. Yes. That is when you get into trouble.
And so if you are somebody who is not preparing your food, then you, even in your subconsciousness, you are not even aware that those things are not in the food that you are buying to consume. Right. Already made food. I sometimes I like that.
Already made food. That's a nice word. Yeah. And then also, so we talked about intake of salt that you don't regulate because you don't cook.
You are not the one cooking. Yes.
We talked about some legumes that are not readily accessible to us.
Yes.
The word is not readily accessible. It's available in the stores. You have to drive through the cold or walk through the cold to get, but it is not readily accessible to us. So you don't get close to it. And then, again, like I said, our diet just changes. Now we don't do more fruits, whole fruits that we used to do back home.
Yes.
You understand?
You have to consciously, for example, when I came here, because of the cold, most of the time, I don't like anything that is cold. So if imagine it is in the winter, my boss used to tell me, you have to substitute for the fruit by doing more smoothie. And me, I want to drink tea. So how can I drink smoothie that is hot? So definitely I don't eat a lot of fruits.
Okay. Then another thing that it's happening, but maybe it doesn't get to you. Even intake of water reduces here in the
Guys, do you know today I haven't drank any water?
You know?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just
intake of water because I'm cold.
Yeah. You know, in sub-Saharan Africa, the minimum consumption of water any individual should take is between 4 to 6 liters, right?
Yes.
Of water.
And we do because the weather
is hot.
Allows
it's
you
hot
to
and you
drink.
want to hydrate.
Yes.
But here, because of the weather, I'm telling you, you will not even remember that you are thirsty.
I haven't drank water today. And what is the time, guys? So that is serious.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. These are little things. When it comes to diet, we in the outside should put more attention to it and subconsciously remind ourselves. I
need to drink water.
Some people, most of my friends back in school, we literally set reminders on our phones
to drink water. Yes. And I think it's good.
And there are various apps now that are on our smartphones. Most of us here use smartphones, and there are various apps that will remind you,
go and drink water.
You will set a target for yourself. Today I need to drink 4 liters of water, and then it will just share it for 24 hours or 12 hours or within 8 hours, and it will remind the app will remind you.
Interesting. I think I need that app. Guys, if you just join us, we are talking about everyday health, like especially for we the immigrants. When we come here, there are so many things that changes in us, and it affects us health-wise. I have in the studio Dr. KB. I love to call him that, and he's bringing the bar so down for us to understand that if you want to avoid cardiovascular diseases, there are certain things that you yourself have to do personally at home before you pick the phone to call 911. If you do most of these things, especially your diet, your exercise, your excessive intake of alcohol, and your smoking, you will be in a good place where you can control most of the diseases that come in your cardiovascular system. Doc, do you have anything more to add to the diet?
Yes, I wanted to comment on one last part of the diet, then we can move to the physical activity.
the part I will be guilty.
Yes, so you see, most of us, even in Africa, we have this thing, I don't feel hungry. But then the issue is, you don't need to feel hungry to eat.
Really?
No.
Guys, do you eat because you just want to eat, or you feel hungry? For me, I think I feel hungry in the morning. I feel hungry before I eat breakfast, or if I don't feel hungry. Oh yeah.
So people have designed patterns and programs that works for them.
Okay.
So first of all, as an individual, you have to study your body, understand your body, then see what works for him. Some people are, they call them, they are not morning people. They are not a morning person.
Yes, yeah.
So in the mornings, they are all grummy, they want to skip and all that. And some people too are morning people.
Yes.
Right. But the issue is not about the quantity, right, of a portion of food you want to eat.
Yes.
But it's the quality. Is it balanced? Does it have the necessary ingredients to give you the necessary vitamins that you need? That's what you should be thinking about. And I recommend, if you can talk to a dietitian can help you draw a plan for yourself. That is one when it comes to the dieting part of this whole thing.
Yes.
Right. So a stable 3 portions of meal a day, that's in the morning, breakfast, afternoon, you have lunch, and in the evening you have dinner. Like I said, you don't need to feel hungry before you eat. You have to listen to your rhythm, your body's rhythm.
But it's not the rhythm that tells you you are hungry. No, I just want to know. I mean, because sometimes I can go the whole day. I'm not fasting. If I'm fasting, strangely when I'm fasting, I'm very hungry. But if I'm not fasting, I can go the whole day doing whatever I want until I go home and I eat. But that is not healthy.
That is not healthy at all. In the sense that, at the same time, like somebody says, you don't feel that you're hungry. It's your mind that tells you you're hungry, because all the senses in our body is being controlled by the mind.
The mind. Okay.
So your stomach you don't feel that you're hungry. It's your mind that interprets that feeling as hunger.
Yes.
For you to even crave for something to eat. Right. But then if you train it that this morning, I have to
eat breakfast.
I have to
eat lunch.
I have to do dinner. And the portions also, you have to be very careful with the portions. Somebody will say, okay, in Ghana, from where I come from, there's something that people do. They call it 001.
Tell me about that. Guys, Ghanaians, if you are here, listen to me. There's something called 001 in Ghana. Yeah. I want to know more. What is that?
It is being attributed to the economy and the way things are hard. So they will skip breakfast, skip lunch, and then add everything and do it.
and do it once. So they eat once
a
in
day,
the evening.
and it's very big bowl of whatever they get, very big, and 001.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Some people to do 010. So
010. So you skip breakfast, eat a big lunch, and you know, like, Doc, it's okay. It's not zeros, but when I used to work in Cyprus, they have one big meal in the afternoon. In the morning, they drink something like tea or coffee. Very big meal in the afternoon between 1 and 3.
And that's it for the day.
And then in the evening, something small like snack, and they are done. So that is not 001. That is half full, half.
That's why I would say is you have to, first of all, see what works for you.
Okay.
Talk to a dietitian, and then the dietitian will guide you.
That is very good. That, you see, he's talking as a professional. For me, I will take what he's saying and just get my breakfast, lunch.
And it has to be in portions, and it has to be recommended.
It has to
be
all the nutrients.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you so much, Doc. So, guys, if you just join us, I'm talking to Dr. KB. I said something that's once a doctor, always a doctor. He is not here to practice. He's here to visit. And I'm like, you need to come to our studio. This is Sizwe Podcast. My name is Agnes. And like I said, most immigrants, when we come here, strong, energetic, we have everything in place. 4 or 5 years down the lane, Dr. Bukola once said, then we are having health challenges. And some of these things, Doc said, it's because our food pattern changes. And he's going to touch on something that I'm not really good at. That is exercise.
So back to it. It's not just exercise, it's having an active physical activity.
Active physical activities. I am very active, doctor. You see me.
It has to be. You have to have a physical activity. Now, when I say that, it's literally, again, coming back to what we were saying, doing what works for you.
Okay.
Because of the cold, because of the timing, that's always we are behind time. Car, all the time we are in the car.
Yeah, from my room to my car to my office to my car, back to my home.
So it's just the same way as I thought about intake of water. You have to consciously ask yourself, tell yourself, before you bath, 5 minutes in the bathroom, you can just do some skipping.
Oh, okay.
Right? You can just do some squats. You don't need 1 hour. People who have time with work will register with the gym.
Go to the gym
and then have that active lifestyle.
I have never been into a gym, and I'm not. I only see the building there, but actually, like what Doc is saying, when you guys go there, the things that they teach you, can you come and practice them at home too? I think it is not rocket science that they do in the gym, but like if you can dedicate at least 5 minutes of your time every day to make a baby step into your active lifestyle, right? I do a lot of gardening.
Right. So it depends on the kind of work you do, right? And how the word is missing. How pumped you are in the morning. Because for me, for instance, I'm a morning person. I want to be very active in the morning. So back in Ghana, I can go for my 20 minutes jogging in the morning, wake up at 5, do a jogging, come and take a shower, go to work, and you feel very pumped because there's blood all over, oxygenated blood all over.
Flowing.
And then you are working and you don't feel tired. Do you understand? But then, if you're not a morning person, you are even gloomy, you don't want to do anything, but you need to go to work. So you just get in there, brush your teeth, pour something on you, change and go to work. So, like I said, find what works for you. If you're a morning person, do it in the morning.
Yeah.
If you are an afternoon person, you do it in the evening when you come back from work. And then those of us who don't also have cars, you can adopt one strategy. I remember back in school when I was studying in Europe, I mostly stop 2 stops. I get off the bus 2 stops before my apartment.
Okay.
Right? So that I'll use
You can use that time
to walk to the house.
It's true. And I think what the doctor is saying is very important. And it goes for most of us who, yes, our lifestyles have changed. One, because of the weather, we cannot walk. And in Alberta, we have almost 6 to 7 months of...
It's cold.
of winter. And so from our house into our car, park into our office, and you do that Monday to Friday or Monday to Monday every day, and then you don't have any...
Interestingly, today I saw something.
Tell me.
A gentleman, well, I know of that technology, but then I wasn't really sure. A gentleman from his room started his car engine already.
Oh, yeah. The remote starter.
Yeah.
Yeah, to warm the car.
Started his car engine to warm the car before he just got into the car and then moved, you know.
So you can imagine, even if he's going to work in an office, especially in the winter, he will just park, run upstairs the whole 7 hours. Is inside and
comes down, do the same thing, gets home, and that's it. So for people who have cars, I'm not saying you should stop using your cars or go and register. If you can afford, you can register for a gym, get an instructor, teaches you some things you should do. You do maybe 2-3 months in the gym, and then the things you've been taught at the gym, you can come home and do it.
Yes,
that's if you can have the time and the space to do that. That's number one. And number two, for those of us who also don't have cars, it is a choice. Yes, it's cold. That is more reason you should even have an active to even circulate the blood in your system. You get it?
Yes.
So 2 stops to the house. You stop, you get off the bus, then you walk to the house. At least you give yourself some form of physical activity.
That is good. Not in my minus 35.
No, that is not what
Guys,
I'm saying.
if you just join us, this is Sizwe podcast. I am very privileged today to have in our studio a medical doctor, and he brought the bar down to speak in our layman's language for us to understand some of the things that we need to do when we come here as immigrants. Our lifestyle change, our food change, and it put us in the risk of facing a lot of cardiovascular challenges, and that is not what the story we want to go home with. Thank you, Doctor. Do you have anything to add before I bring the curtain to a close?
Yeah, so finally, I'll just talk about you believing in yourself, one, and staying always positive, regardless about how things are going in your life or around you. With your health, as we've talked today, with your health, you should be on point. Have control of it. Those of us who don't cook and resort to fast food and other things, finding ways that works for you.
Yes.
Because you are you got you.
Yes.
Right?
You are all you got.
Yes. Yeah, you got you. So you should make sure that you find rhythms and things that works for you. Right? And also with the health. Those who have cars, those who don't have cars, you don't need a reason not to exercise. You don't need a reason not to exercise. You have to always find tunes and ways. Like I said, those who have cars, before you take a shower in the morning, you do some 5 minutes skipping,
yes,
something in your
get the blood flowing.
Yeah, to just circulate the blood around you, and then you are good to go. I think basically we've touched on the 2 things that we wanted to talk about today.
Thank you so much. And the 2 things Doctor is talking about is to prevent cardiovascular diseases, or to extend the time to the point where you'll be calling the 911. You have to watch your diet, and you have to have a reason to exercise every day. And for us, it is a challenge because back home, the weather allows us. But as we are inching into the winter month, some of us are going to stay at home, become a snail, and just go into our hibernation. Even if we are going to work, it is just work to our car, to our office, back to our car, and we don't do any exercise. And if we do that, it is not going to end well with us. If you just join us, we will bring the curtain close here. But the next time you see Doctor, he'll be talking about another thing. Thank you so much. My name is Agnes.